I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on solving equations. In this video, we'll discuss 6 questions from previous test papers. We'll understand how to solve a linear equation, as you can see here. We'll take simple quadratic equations also. And our equations will involve fractions. We'll learn a couple of techniques to solve equations. You can always pause in between and solve questions yourself and then check into my suggestions. So let's begin. Question number 1, 2 parts. Let's begin with part A, which is 2x plus 6 equals to minus 3 times x minus 2. Now the left side is 2x plus 6. On the right side, minus 3 is to be multiplied by both the terms inside the bracket. So you have to multiply with both x and minus 2. Minus 3 times x is minus 3x, and minus 3 times minus 2 is plus 6. Remember to change the sign. Minus times minus is positive, right? That could be a potential error. Now, let's bring the variables to one side and constants to the other side. So we get 2x plus 3x equal to 6 minus 6. On the left side, we get 5x, which is 6 minus 6 is 0. So x is equal to 0 divided by 5. So we get x as equal to 0. So in this case, 0 is the solution. Now at times, you may check your result. Well, we really are not checking the result in this video. However, you could always check it. So if I substitute 0 here, what do I get? I get 2 times 0, right? Plus 6, which is 0 plus 6, which is 6. And on the right side, so this is the left side, correct? On the right side, I get minus 3 times 0 minus 2, which is minus 3 times minus 2, which is also 6, right? Which is the right side. So you can clearly see that left side is equals to right side. So this is the correct solution. Is that clear to you? So that is how you could actually check your solutions. Now let's take the next example. We'll apply the distributive property on the left side. So we get 3 times n minus 3 times 2 is 6 equals to 5n. 2 times n plus 10. Bring all the variables together. We can combine them first and then bring. So we have 3n minus 6 equals to 7n plus 10. Now bringing it to the left side gives us 3n minus 7n. And taking 6 to the right side, we get 10 plus 6. 3 minus 7 is minus 4. So we get minus 4n equals to 16. So n is 16 divided by minus 4, which is equal to minus 4. So our answer here is that n is equal to minus 4. Clear? You can always check this solution, right? Just as we did in part A. Question number 2 is involving some fractions. 2 times 3x minus 4 divided by 3 equals to minus 8. Now in such questions, we apply the strategy of cross multiplication. In fact, what we are doing is that on both the sides, we are multiplying by 3. So let me rewrite and show it to you. So we have 2 times 3x minus 4 divided by 3 equal to minus 8. So I'm going to multiply by 3 on both the sides. When I do that, then 3 divided by 3 is 1. So that gets cancelled. Effectively, we are multiplying minus 8 by 3. So that is what we call cross multiplication, right? So you could directly multiply it. So I hope you have got the concept now, right? So let's continue. So we have 2 times 3x minus 4 equals to minus 8 times 3. Let's open this bracket. Or we could also divide by 2 on this side. So let's rewrite this. We get 2 times 3x minus 4 equals to minus 24. Now we are going to divide by 2 both sides instead of multiplying. Do you understand? So that is simpler. So if you divide, 2 and 2 cancel, and here what do you get? You get minus 12, correct? So we can write that 3x minus 4 equals to minus 12. Taking 4 to this side, we get 3x equals to minus 12 plus 4, which is minus 8, right? So x is equal to minus 8 divided by 3, which is minus 6. So that is our answer. X equals to minus 6. Is that clear? So that is how we are going to solve it. So I hope you have understood the techniques. So cross multiplication is a very good technique. You can divide by 2 and simplify the equation. Correct? Now let us see how to do the next question, which is part B. The denominator here is 2, 2 and 4. So now let us take the lowest common denominator, which is 4 for us, correct? Since 4 is the lowest common denominator, we should make them all 4. That is one way of doing it, right? The other way, which I say is the alternate method, is in this case, since we have 2 and 4 in the denominator, we can times both sides by 4. So the alternate method is multiply by 4 both sides. Correct? That way we'll get rid of the fractions. So I'm going to apply this alternate method now to solve. So what I'm trying to say here is we'll do 2 times x plus 2 over 2 plus 2 times, rather 4 times. We have to multiply by 4, right? So sorry, 4 times. So 4 times 2 equals to 2x minus 3 over 2 times 4 plus 1 over 4 times 4, right? So we multiplied everything by 4. Did you see that? So when you multiply each and every term by 4, on both the sides, you are not changing the equation. It is one and the same thing, right? So the whole equation has been multiplied by 4, right? Now it simplifies since we can now write this 4 goes 2 times, right? So that can be divided 2 times. We get 2 times x plus 2 here. 4 times 2 is 8. This 2 cancels with 4 2 times. We get 2x minus 3 times 2 plus 4 and 4 cancel, left with 1. Do you see that? So we got an equation without fractions. So that is how we can get rid of fractions. Did you see how? So we get rid of fractions. Now it is a simple equation, linear equation, just as we did earlier. So let's open these brackets, bring x terms together. So we have 2x plus 4 plus 8 equals to 2 times 2, 4x minus 6 plus 1. Bringing all the x terms to one side, we get 2x, bringing 4x here, minus 4x equals to minus 6 plus 1 minus 4 minus 8. So we get the numbers on one side. 2x minus 4x is minus 2x. Here we get minus 4 minus 8 minus 12, minus 6 is minus 18, and we get plus 17 there, correct? So that is the number which we got. Now we'll just divide by minus 2 to get our answer. So x is equal to 17 divided by minus 2, which is equal to 8.5 or 8.5, right? Or you could also write minus, let me write minus 8.5. So that becomes the result of this solution. Is that clear to you? So here we got rid of the fractions by multiplying each term by 4. So we're left with 2 times this. 4 times 2 is 8. Here 4 gets cancelled, 2 times all this, and then we expand it Combine the terms, taking these two to 12 to the right side, between minus 18 plus 117, and 4 to this side with a negative sign, and solve your question, right? So I hope the steps are clear. Perfect. Let's move on and take the next question. Question number 3. Now, question number 3 involves multiplication of x with x. That means we are landing with quadratic equation. Determine the roots and check. Now, when I say roots, it means solution. That makes the equation true. Right? So let's do it. So we have minus 14 minus x times x plus 3 equals to 2x minus x times x minus 6 plus 8. So let's multiply. So we have minus 14. When you open this bracket, you have to multiply x with both. You get minus x squared minus 3x. On this side, we have 2x minus x squared. And here you get plus 6x plus 8. Well, in this case, these x squares will cancel. So that's good for you. Okay, so let's take x terms on the left side, numbers on the right side. So we have minus x squared, bringing here minus x squared will give us plus x squared. And this 2x terms, minus 2x. We already have minus 3x here. And taking the constants, okay, 6x is left. So minus 6x also on this side. We are left with 8 here, and we'll take minus 14 to the right side, which becomes plus 14. Clear? So as you can see here, these two terms cancel, right? Minus x squared plus x squared is 0. So we are again working with a linear equation. So minus 6 minus 3 is 9, minus 2 is 11. So we have minus 11x equals 2. 8 plus 14 is 22. So x is equal to 22 divided by minus 11. So that gives us a value of minus 2. Now in this question, we need to check the result also. So let us check. So let's work out the left side first. So in left side, we are going to substitute x equals to minus 2, right? So we'll substitute x equals to minus 2. So when you write minus 2 here, you get minus 14 minus of minus 2 times minus 2 plus 3, right? So you get minus 14, that becomes plus 2, minus and minus is plus. Minus 2 plus 3 is 1, right? So that gives you minus 14 plus 2 as minus 12. Now let's do the right side. Right side is 2 times minus 2 minus of minus 2 times minus 2 minus 6 plus 8. So which is minus 4, and here we get plus 2 times this term is minus 8 plus 8, right? So that gives you minus 4. Here we get 2 times minus 8 as minus 16 plus 8, and that gives you again minus 12. So what we see here is that the left side is equal to right side, and both are equal to minus 12. So that means the answer is correct. Is that clear to you? So that is how you're going to check your results. Question number 4. State restrictions and solve. Part A. X plus 3 over 3 plus 3 over x equals to x minus 1 over 3. So let us understand what are restrictions. In our case, restrictions are the numbers which x cannot have, right? So values which x cannot have. Reason being that, here x is in the denominator, right? So the restriction is that x should not be equal to 0, right? That is a restriction, correct? Since dividing by 0 is not permitted, right? So let me write here, it's not required for you to write, but understand, since division by 0 is not valid. Clear? So we have a restriction here that x cannot be equal to 0. Now let us see how to solve. Now in this case we have x plus 3 over 3 plus 3 over x equals to x minus 1 over 3. As you can see, the common denominator is 3x, right? So what we do is we multiply each term by 3x. So we multiply each term by 3x. So when you do that, you can clearly see that we are getting rid of the denominator part. So here 3 and 3 cancel, here x and x cancel, in this case also 3 and 3 cancel. So what are you left with? You are left with x times x plus 3, and on this side 3 times 3, you are left with 3 times 3, and here you have x times x minus 1. Clear? Now by doing so we actually get rid of denominator. Correct? So we have equation without fractions, right? Simple linear equation to solve. Well, this is not linear, but it's quadratic since you are going to multiply x by x, right? So what we get here is x times x is x squared plus x times 3 is 3x plus 9 equals to x squared minus x. Now let's bring all the x terms together, 9 to the other side. So we have x squared plus 3x minus x squared plus x equal to minus 9. X squared minus x squared is 0. 3x plus x is 4x equal to minus x or minus 9. So x is minus 9 by 4. Right? So that becomes our answer. So the solution is x equals to minus 9 over 4, where x is not equal to 0. That is the restriction. Clear? So that is how you're going to solve this question. Now let's look into part B of 4. Slightly more complicated equation. In this case, let's begin with restrictions first. X minus 5 should not be equal to 0 means x should not be equal to 5, right? So that's the first one. Now x minus 3 is in the denominator, so x minus 3 should not be equal to 0. So x should not be equal to 3. So we get two restrictions here. So which I'm writing here as x is not equal to 5 and x is not equal to 3. Is that clear? So these are the restrictions. Clear? And now, how are we going to solve this? How are we going to solve? Well, a couple of ways. One way which we could do is we could take a common denominator on the left side, right? Simplify this part and then do it. We could actually multiply each term by the lowest common denominator, which is x minus 5 times x minus 3. So let's do it that way. So what we are going to do here is multiply each term by x minus 5 times x minus 3. Okay, so the first term will be x minus 2 over x minus 5 plus we'll multiply this also by x minus 5 times x minus 3 times 1 equals to 2 times x minus 3. Now see, x minus 3 and x minus 3 we could have cancelled, right? So let's do that. So first we'll simplify. So what we'll do in this case is we'll cancel x minus 3 and x minus 3. So now it becomes simpler, right? So we'll not do this step. I didn't see it earlier. So it becomes easier for us. We'll get x minus 2 over x minus 5 plus 1 equal to 2, right? Now we'll take 1 to the right side, so we get x minus 2 over x minus 5 equals to 2 minus 1, which is 1. And now we'll cross multiply, so we get x minus 2 equals to x minus 5. Clear? And now we'll continue on the right side. So we have, let me rewrite, x minus 2 equals to x minus 5. Now in this particular case, if I bring x to the left side and numbers on the other side, I get x minus x equals to minus 5 plus 2. Now x minus x is 0 equals to minus 5 plus 2, which is minus 3. Now 0 equals to minus 3 is not possible. Therefore, this equation has no solution. Is that clear? So if you get such a situation like 0 equals to a number, which is not possible, right? So we get a situation where there is no solution. So at times it is possible that you may not get any solution to your equation. Is that clear to you? And this is one of your cases. Perfect. So I hope you appreciate it. Now let's move on and take the next question, which is question number 5. So here also I have two parts. Let me write 5a here. And then we'll do the last question, which will be 5b. 5a. Perimeter is 8 times the width of a rectangle. How many times wide is the length of the rectangle? How many times is the length of the rectangle? How many times width? Okay, that is correct. How many times width is the length of the rectangle? That makes sense. Okay, so let's just sketch a rectangle first. Okay, let's say width is W. Perimeter is 8 times the width of the rectangle. And let's say L is the length. We are given that perimeter is 8 times the width, 8 times 2. But actually speaking, perimeter should be 2 times length plus 2 times width, correct? But we are given that 8 times width is 2 times length plus 2 times width. This is the condition given to us. Now we need to find how many times is the length of the rectangle to width, right? How many times width is the length of the rectangle? Okay, so we have this equation to work with. So let's solve this equation. So we have 8 times width equals to 2 times length plus 2 times width. We can take width on the same side. So 8 times width minus 2 times width equals to 2 times length. 6 times width is 2 times length, right? Dividing by 2, we get length as 3 times width. Correct? So that becomes our solution. So we can say that length is 3 times width. Is that clear to you, right? So that is how you're going to solve this particular question. Now here is question number 5b for you. Question number 5b is, if area of this rectangle is 27 meters square, find the width, right? So if the area of this rectangle is 27 meters square, find the width. That is the question for you. How are you going to do it? Okay, we have already found that length is 3 times width, right? So area is 3 times width times width. And that area is given to us as 27 meters square, right? So we can divide by 3. So we get width square is 27 divided by 3, which is 9. Now width square is 9, so width should be equal to 3, right, which is square root of 9, correct? So we find that the width should be square root of 9, which is 3. So our answer here is that width equals to 3 meters square. Is that clear? Right? So that is how you could do a related question. It could have been find the perimeter, right? It could have been width, or you can say perimeter also. If it was perimeter, you will say perimeter is how much? 8 times will be 24 meters, correct? Since we are given perimeter is 8 times. So that is how we could have another question from the given question relating perimeter and the rectangle's width. So I hope you understand and appreciate how we could solve questions related to polynomials. So all our equations basically were linear equations to solve with. The quadratic part, or degree 2, or the square part, was very simple and it got eliminated most of the time. So I hope you understand this basic operation of solving equations. In the next video, we will take slightly more complicated equations which will require solution to quadratic equation. Feel free to write your comment, share your views, and if you like and subscribe to my videos, that would be great. Thanks for watching and all the best.